Hello everyone and welcome to an updated What's in my dock video. Finally! Feels like I haven't done one of these in forever and my dock has probably really changed, but it may have stayed the same slightly. So if you guys haven't seen one of these videos before, it's basically me sitting here going through every single application that I use day to day on my Mac. If it's in my dock, it means that I use it pretty damn regularly. So, for it to deserve the place in the dock. Either that or it's just convenient having it in the dock. So I've had a few requests for this video, not loads and loads, but I have decided that I want to put one out because it's just nice to keep everyone updated as to what I'm using on my Mac. Now, of course, this is my Mac Pro, but you can pretty much guarantee that my MacBook Pro will be very similar, just slightly less junk, a little bit more streamlined, but the basics are there, the same on my MacBook Pro. So let's start it all off. Of course, just before we start, I'm running Yosemite, and of course we're running the dark theme, so we've got the dark dock and menu bar. I normally have my dock hidden, like so, but, I'm going to have it up for the purposes of this video. It makes life a lot easier. Anyway, let's get on to it. First things first, we have the Finder. Of course, the Finder's always there. And just as I'm here then, let's talk about the Finder quickly in Yosemite. Very nice Finder. I like it a lot. No complaints, working really well. Awesome, there's that there's that out the way. Next up, we've got the App Store. Never been the biggest fan, but hey, it's here to stay, and it is what it is, so I've got it in the dock. Next up, we have the calendar. Very handy. It syncs across all of my devices, so, we're talking this Mac, my MacBook Pro, my tablet, and my Android phone. I use Google to sync the calendars. It works really well. Next up, we have reminders, something that I've recently started using, and I really do like it. It's handy just to have a couple of little reminders just sitting here on my desktop because I spend so long at the computer. It's nice to, just check it out a little bit, see. It helps with organization, basically. Twitter, the official Twitter app for Mac, it's actually pretty crappy. I'm not sure why I'm still using it. I should be using something else. But, I'm not massively, always on Twitter or anything. So it's kind of cool just the way it is. Yeah, that's that. Mail is my email client. I've never had any issues with it. I really like it. It's speedy. It just sits there in the background. Normally I have these four things open constantly. They're pretty much always open. They open on startup and stuff, but I have actually closed everything for this video, of course. Next up, we have Skype. I don't log on that often, but when I do, I'm guaranteed to get an absolute shed load of people trying to call me on there. I gave out my Skype a little while ago, and, people seem to pass it on amongst themselves and stuff. And I do have a separate Skype account now for family and stuff because it has got to the point where I can't go on there without being absolutely bombarded. But of course, it's really nice. Sometimes I log into my, to the one that is, publicly viewable, wherever I've put that information. Sometimes I log on to it, and it's just nice to speak to you guys sometimes. I do enjoy it. Next up, we have Adium. Now, someone didn't know Adium was still in existence. I had a conversation with someone about it, or maybe it was a tweet or something. Someone said, it's an ancient application. But yeah, it still works really well. I use it now. I used to use it for MSN, or Microsoft Messenger, or Windows Live Messenger, or whatever you'd call it, back in the day when that was still popular. But now I just use it for Facebook chat. It's great if you don't want to dedicate a browser tab or browser window to being on Facebook, but you're still chatting to someone on there. It's great way to do so. It just connects to Facebook chat straight away, and you've got all the same features pretty much. Only slight downside, you don't get the scene function, and it's amazing how dependent instant messaging is on the scene function now, just because Facebook has it, and it's really weird to live without it. But anyway, Adium, it's really handy. I use it every now and again, primarily if I'm watching something on Netflix or in an iTunes window or whatever, and I don't want to have a web browser open. It could just have a little conversation sitting in the corner. Next up is my browser of choice. This is Google Chrome. I spoke about Google Chrome briefly in my I'm trying to remember what it was now. In my let's see, come on brain, MacBook Pro video. Talking about how it used a lot of power and CPU and stuff. It's not really a concern on this system, of course, because it's not running on a battery. So, it makes absolutely no difference to me. And I really like it as a browser. I will have to try Safari on my MacBook Pro because of the battery implications. And if I do so, I will try and force myself to switch to Safari on the desktop. Can't be that hard, but I've just been using Chrome for years and I love it. Colloquy, an application that's been around on Mac for absolutely years now, something that I've had installed for years, and it's pretty much the best IRC chat client going still, so it's really great to connect to chat rooms and stuff. So here we go, there's my chat room, and of course, you just join room, and you put in your password, and then there you go, I'm in my Tom Smith live streaming chat room, and that is what I use to monitor the stream when I'm streaming on Ustream for you guys. I hope that I continue to use Ustream, but the YouTube streaming option is looking very, very appealing. So, things like Colloquy and Ustream might have to take a back burner, which is a shame because you get a load of great options in here and I love it. But no chat topic is set. Yeah, that's what we were on last time. Anyway, yeah, not bad. Love that application, always have. It's been great, rock solid. Next up we have Ustream Producer. Oh, if I can even pronounce it. Ustream Producer. It's an interesting little application. It asks you to sign into Ustream, and you can do a lot of audio and video swapping. It's kind of handy, but I only primarily use it for the bandwidth monitoring, so I stream using Ustream Producer, and it also allows me to set a resolution lower than 240p. So that's how I get away with streaming at 200p, which is my default streaming definition, or 180p if it gets really, really bad. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Let's quit that. Haven't done a stream. Oh, what the hell did I press? Haven't done a stream in a while, guys. That's definitely something I want to get on very, very soon. Next thing, Cam Twist. Can be used for lots of different things, but I do primarily use it while streaming. It's on my other display again. It's great for setting stuff up. So it looks like I actually have a couple of stuff saved. Tom and James countdown. Let's auto load that and see what we have in the preview. Hang on, let's just take a little look at this preview. And there we have it. That was the template that I used for my stream with James, and it's still saved. So, I run my stream through a lot of applications. It works really well. You can use Cam Twist for a couple of other things, and it works really nicely. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do, but I only primarily use it for streaming. Coming up next is an application called Ease Capture. And it is the application that came with my capture card. It's an absolutely shite application, forgive the French. It's really, really bad. But yeah, it's there, and I use it for the multicam stuff that I do with my camcorder while streaming. So that works out pretty well sometimes, but it's more of a gimmick than anything. The quality is really bad, and it hasn't even launched. It's given me an error. Oh, it gives me an error saying, okay, that's great. So that application no longer works, no worries. Moving along, we have Spotify. I don't have a Spotify account. I just have the free version. Even though I only have the free version, I'm still in there pretty much every day looking up new tracks and stuff. But I always download them and save them to iTunes. Love iTunes. Always have. Hopefully always will if it stays good. The new one is fine by me. It's working really nicely. I like it. The only annoying thing is the progress bar of the track is very small. It's very hard to see. But that's my only complaint. Coming up next, we have Flickster, which I'm not too sure. I don't quite know why it's in my dock. I really like the icon, and that could probably be why. But, I've only got a couple of films in there, and I only have it installed since I was prompted to install it from a Blu-ray code that I got with one of my films. So yeah, it's on there, and yeah, it's just sitting there. But I use it a lot on my phone, so I don't know. It's a kind of different thing on the desktop, though. Next up, we have Final Cut Pro 10, latest version. Recently sorted all that out when I got Yosemite. This is my primary video editor, my only video editor, really. It's great. It is great for what it is. As you guys know, I used to primarily, for YouTube, use Final Cut Express 4 HD, which was basically Final Cut Pro 7, just slimmed down a little. And, I loved it to pieces. But Final Cut Pro 10 is very handy for some of the auto features that it has and stuff. And once you get used to the slightly more controlled way of editing, I guess you could call it, then it's absolutely great. Compressor, it's not working at the moment. I need to update it because I didn't pay for compressor. I only downloaded it very quickly for one project. I don't normally run my videos through compressor. I use Handbrake. But yeah, there's compressor, and it's handy for what it is. It's very high quality. It works well. OpenDCP, this is an interesting application. As you guys know, I work in a cinema, and I believe a couple of years ago now, we converted from 35mm projection to digital projection, and we have a Dolby-based server, and films all come in DCP packages. And if I ever wanted to make something to play in the cinema, then it would need to be in DCP format. And it's very, very complicated to make a DCP package unless you pay hundreds of pounds to get it made for you. If you want to make it yourself, you can use this free application called OpenDCP, but prepare to be working on it for a good couple of days to get it working nicely. Also, you'll need a theatre to yourself to test it out on, especially to get audio right if you're trying to mix a 5.1 mix and you haven't got 5.1 speakers at home, which is what I struggled with for a little project that I wanted to do. Basically, you've got to export pretty much every frame as a TIFF file from your video editor, load it into here. You've got to do a lot of complicated audio stuff. It gets annoying, but once you end up with that one DCP package, load it into your cinema server and then it plays, man, you feel as if you've accomplished something. It's even better than being able to repair something in a really manly way. So yeah, OpenDCP, I fully recommend it for projectionists or cinema technicians if you want to make your own stuff to go on the screen. But of course, you're probably not very free and allowed to do that if you work for a chain cinema, but, you know, whatever. Here we have something that does not need to be in my dock. This is a video converter that I used to use for something, can't remember what. Next up, we have MPEG Streamclip, an application that I used to swear by for a lot of things, but I no longer use for very much. I think it's handy to have if I just open it up and bring it over. It still to this day has one of the weird interfaces with pretty much all of the options up here in the menus, and then once you choose to export something, getting loads of options then. But MPEG Streamclip, for what it is very powerful, and of course it's free. So next up we have my YouTube downloader, Mac X, YouTube, whatever. Yeah, the Mac X people gave me DVD Ripper Pro. I reviewed that a couple of years ago, so I've got the YouTube downloader as well. Really handy for basically if people send me videos, like the couple of last people that donated. If they send me videos on YouTube, then I can download them in full 1080p high quality using this application. But one of them didn't work, so I ended up screen recording it. But that's another story, you know, slight little Yosemite hiccups, and it prompts me to update anyway. Toast 10 Titanium, I use it for pretty much any of my outside of YouTube pro work when it comes to burning DVDs. I burn a lot of DVDs, come to think of it, here and there. I go in phases, and I've got the Toast Titanium 10 suite, which is still working great for me. I've got pretty much all the plugins for it. But I haven't upgraded yet. I don't see it worth the cost of upgrading because this still does everything that I want it to do, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Sometimes if I hit a hiccup, I fall back on Toast to convert some of my slightly wackier YouTube videos. But yeah, I've pretty much got a solid preset in Handbrake now that I like to use. Talking of Handbrake, here it is, an application that I'm always in. I use it for a couple of things. I use it for converting my YouTube videos, as you can see, because I've got a YouTube preset. That's the only preset that I've got there, really. But I also use it for ripping DVDs, which is something that I rarely do now because I really don't buy DVDs. I'm just buying Blu-rays, and I'm not ripping Blu-rays yet for multiple reasons. Storage, don't have the time, don't have the drive, don't have the money, etc, etc. So I'm not doing a lot of ripping anymore, but every single video that you guys see gets run through Handbrake to deinterlace it, and also to compress it slightly so that I can upload it quicker. And yeah, I've got a pretty decent balance between quality and file size now. Next up, we have MetaZ. The reason it's next to Handbrake is because I used to rip films using my using Handbrake and then open MetaZ to give them all the metadata. Looks like it's not working very well anymore or whatever, so whatever. Wow, nice. Okay, so that's that. Next up, we have Switch. Switch is a decent audio converter. That's all it is, though. It's an audio converter. It's in no means an audio editor. Primarily use it if I want to get a track running at 48 kilohertz in the old Final Cut down from 44.1. It's very handy for converting WAVs to MP3s or, you know, any format to any format, really. It's handy. It costs a little bit, but it's worth it. Yeah, I use it. I don't have a DAW installed on this computer, you know, I don't have Logic or anything installed, and it's worth having a little audio converter just when you need to, you know, do the little audio stuff. Next up, we have Photoshop CS6. This is where I make all my video thumbnails. That's primarily what I use Photoshop for. I'm not great in Photoshop at all, and I don't pretend to be ever. It's not something that I pretend to be good at. But yeah, there's Photoshop, and I've got everything templated up, ready to go. It is launching, but it's launching on my other display. There it goes. And here it is. So Photoshop CS6, can't go wrong. Next up, we have something that has plummeted into the pit of despair in the last couple of years. When iWork 09 came out, it was a rock-solid Office alternative. I used to recommend it to everyone with a Mac. It's brilliant. You could open... In 08, there were some compatibility problems. But when they brought iWork 09 out, you could open Word documents, save Word documents, pretty much no compatibility issues, and you had loads of options in there. iWork whatever this is, the latest iWork, they're not even doing the years anymore, has just plummeted for the worst, and they've stripped it back to bare minimum features so that it's all compatible with the iOS minimum stripped down applications. It's absolutely disgusting that they went from really good apps to really crap apps, but still, that hasn't converted me to Microsoft Word. I still use Pages for all of that kind of thing, and yeah. The only thing that isn't up to it for me is numbers. I have to use Excel because I'm self-employed, I manage all of my own finances, and, you know, I keep a log of absolutely everything in Excel. That's another application that I have permanently open. I use Excel over numbers pretty much any day, just for compatibility, support, reliability, etc., etc. The iWork suite has gone downhill dramatically. It's a shame because the icons have got really nice, but this has gone down, really down. And if the features are in there, if the, you know, top pro features that I used to love are sitting somewhere there in iWork, they are buried right under, and yeah, it shouldn't be like that. Next up, we have TextEdit, an application that I swear by. I have by now hundreds, maybe even touching 1,000 TextEdit documents saved, where I've just written something, saved it, and then if I spotlight search, it's just right there, boom, in front of me. And I've just got so much stuff saved, from games that I want to try out for the Super Nintendo, to names of bands that I think I want to see locally, and I just write everything in there. I treat TextEdit like people treat stickies. Instead of having loads of stickies everywhere, I save loads of TextEdit documents in random folders, and I use Spotlight to retrieve them. And, you know, I've got TextEdit documents everywhere. It's an app that I've always used. It's an app that I always will use. Next up, we have Calculator. Very handy for me to keep around. Actually, I should put that there because I use it in conjunction with Excel quite a lot, even though this should be doing all the calculating for me. I do an interesting little workflow when it comes to Excel. I might share it with you guys one day, but it's probably pretty boring, so I might not. HTC Sync Manager, as you guys know, I have a HTC One M8. I don't love using this application to sync my phone, but it's a damn sight better than having zero syncing compatibility at all. It's not a bad little application. It works better than the stock Android thing, which doesn't sync with my phone at all. Whatever that's called, Android Sync Manager, I'm not too sure. But yeah, it works okay. Just wish it had a bit of a speedier interface than that. It feels like one of those bloated web-style interfaces. I'm really not keen on applications like that. Some of them are like that, some of them aren't, but yeah. Next up, we have screen sharing. This is just the built-in Mac screen sharing thing that I'm using for now. So when I open it up, I can literally open recent connections and go straight to my Mac Mini server. And as you guys can see, that is still sitting there and it's uploaded. It does all my video uploading. So of course now, ready to upload this video, I'll tap upload, and I can just manage stuff from here really easily. So it's great. I don't have to leave my Mac Pro on 24/7 anymore, and I love it. There's a lot of things that I've got to do with this server again, loads and loads. I'm only using it in a very temporary manner, but that's how it is. Next up, we have transmission. I torrent a load of stuff, guys, but who doesn't? And I mean, I do a lot of file sharing that's good, peer-to-peer, you know, in sharing things with other people and whatnot, and I love transmission. It's one of the best torrent clients going. It's just so simple, but if you do want to apply complex things, then they are available just a couple of clicks away. So yeah, not to sound like an advert or anything. Next up, we have Disk Utility, and I think, yeah, that's the last. QuickTime's never there. It's only because I'm recording. Disk Utility. I use Disk Utility, believe it or not, probably around once a week. It sounds quite hard to believe, but I really do. I've got so many hard drives and stuff floating around, and I'm doing so many stuff with other Macs on YouTube and stuff, all this different hard drive stuff happening, that I'm in disk utility all the time. And you can tell that I'm a power user when it comes to disk utility, because I use it in pretty much full screen. So yeah, that's that. Come on, dock. There we go. So yeah, disk utility, QuickTime's not normally there, like I said. Then we have my downloads and trash, and boom, that's it. So my dock has grown and grown over time. A lot of this stuff I could probably get rid of ditching. I could get away with ditching, like MetaZ, Flickster, also Compressor. And yeah, I don't need all of this stuff in here. I don't need numbers in there. I don't really use it. But, you know, some stuff you just like to have sitting in your dock. So guys, I hope that gives you an idea as to the applications that I use. I do get some questions sometimes, you know, people asking, what are you using and stuff, if they spy an odd icon that they don't recognize in my videos or whatever. Like I say, the MacBook Pro is pretty much the same deal. The only Mac that I have that's very different is obviously the stuff that doesn't support all these applications, like the PowerPC stuff, but it's pretty much the same dock with the equivalent stuff. But my G5 upstairs is very different. Very, very different. It's pretty much just Logic and Waveburner. That's pretty much all it is. And a couple of other little music applications. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. That's my Mac Pro, my main machine. This is where I sit and do everything for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I fulfilled my request for you guys who did ask for it. And if you didn't ask for it, I hope you have enjoyed this surprise little screen recording. Definitely a rare moment from me. So, of course, I will see you all bright and early in tomorrow's video. Have a brilliant day.